Morning, Mark. Have you managed to get the players out much this week with the frost around?
No, it's been frustrating to say the least. We managed to get some training in, so Tuesday was okay, and then obviously yesterday wasn't, today isn't. So we will be training indoors again, which isn't ideal, but we've got to do what we've got to do.
And obviously disappointed with the result against Reading. The performance less disappointing, but do you think you'll have benefited of having got that game under your belts as a team?
Well, yeah, you'd like to think so. I think, having had the 4 weeks off, and obviously told you last week that our circumstances and to get that game under our belts was it was much needed. But I thought we'd done okay. I thought generally we'd performed to a decent level. So ideally we would have liked a full training week this week. That hasn't happened. But they're still in decent shape, good nick, and they'll be looking forward to the game. Again, it's the first time we've played at home in a long time, so since the QPR game just before the break, and we're looking forward to playing back at the arena.
You mentioned being back at home. It'd be nice to play in front of that CBS arena atmosphere once again.
Yeah, it's always good. I'm looking forward to it. The players will be looking forward to it too, and it's a really good game. Good opponent. Like the way that they do things. They're Russell Martin is a young coach who's making an impact in the game at the clubs he's been at. Obviously, MK Dons prior to this one, and I think they play an attractive style of football. It's possession based. They are, by far and away the team with the most possession in the division, really. And so you can expect that we'll be without the ball for periods of the game, but hopefully when we have the ball back we can hurt them.
Yeah, they've got through a little bit of a difficult patch in terms of results. No wins in 6. You read anything into that? Not
particularly. I think just that they've had no wins in 6. I think that's the reality of things. Is they've played last week against a really good Norwich team, and they ran them close. They conceded really early in the game. From kick-off they conceded a corner, which led to the goal that won the game for Norwich. So they had plenty of chances. They like I say, they moved the ball really well, and just like I say, it's going to be a really interesting game, but one I know we can do some damage. I think last season we played them and we sort of didn't start the game quickly enough. I think from that point of view, you give them the impetus. I think Norwich last week got after them and they gained the initiative, certainly with taking the lead early on in the game. But they don't stop doing what they do. They get into spaces. They try and pin you deep. They'll try and get the ball high up the field, and that's where they're most comfortable. That's where they want you, and we've got to try and do things that are going to counter that. But we've got really good players. We've got players in good nick. So it's a game to look forward to.
They've got Jamie Patterson, who's a Coventry City fan, apparently, scored early against you. The last 3 times he's played against you, so you're going to keep him at 15 minutes.
Well, look, I think Jamie's a good player, and you're quite right. He seems to enjoy playing against us. Hopefully that won't be the case tomorrow. But they've got other players. Joel Pirro's a really good, useful player, good striker. Drops into spaces really well. If he gets a chance to shoot, he takes it. It's the target a lot. They've got some really good players. Matt Grimes in the middle of the park and Jay Fulton have forged a really good partnership, and they have some good attacking players, and they will always try and play and move you around, and it's up to us to try and limit the opportunities that they get, whilst we know we will spend time without possession. So it's a home game that, with a difference really. We've just got to make sure that when we have the ball we use it to the best, and we can cause them problems as well.
And Victor Gyökeres, he doesn't need any incentive, I'm sure, but he'd have the happiest of loan spells, I think, at Swansea before he joined you. So do you think he'll be particularly keen to perform against them?
I don't think overly too much about that. I think it's another game. I think he'll be focused on us and the way we set up and what we want to do and how we want to go about the job, and that's what he does. You know, he focuses on himself and the team and how he can get opportunities and force opportunities. But you know, like I say, they'll have to worry about him and others in our team, and I think it's a good chance for us to get back to picking points up again, because last week, even though the performance was good, we didn't get anything to show for it, which was always a disappointment. But like I say, we start to get into it now, because we get back in. We play tomorrow, and then we're on Wednesday, then we play Monday on Boxing Day. You know, things are thick and fast from that point onwards. We get a bit of a break, don't we, just into January, second week in January with the game against Wrexham in the FA Cup. But lots to look forward to, in fairness.
And you got Dean Austin on board. What can you tell us about him?
I've known Dean, not sort of brilliantly well, but I've been on courses with Dean, did a pro licence together. I've known him for, well, that's best part of 20 years, and obviously as a player I knew him, played against him when he was at Tottenham and Palace. But he's somebody, I mean, he works his socks off. Every time I've seen him, the first time I met him, he was scouting for Southend, and he was in the car all the time. So he was up doing his pro licence, and he was off to games and coming back in. He was doing his work, and his energy's incredible. He's been working both for Blackpool and for St Albans City, and you know, instrumental in setting up their scouting network and processes, and process driven. But like I say, he's got good eyes, and because he's been a player, he has been a player as well, and he has a good set of eyes on him that can bring us some talent that hopefully we can sign, and moving forward we can improve again. And you know, that's what he's been tasked with. There's a lot in his inbox at the moment, so he's got to make sure that he goes through that methodically, and we can get ready for both January and the summer.
And how does it work between you? Does he bring you a list of players? Discuss them with you? How does it work?
Well, it's early days yet, but I'm sort of in conversations with him. I've listened to what he wants to do. I'm quite happy with the way he wants to go about it. He's looking to recruit people to work with him and develop that department. Also, there'll be other things alongside that we're going to try and improve and give us some objective information that we can use moving forward. That was something that was in the pipeline anyway, but will be actioned now. So it's exciting. You know, it's a chance to restart, refresh, and put something in place again that will outlast the lot of us. In fairness, you know, we've got to make sure that happens, and we look after the club moving forward. And his ideas and his ethos is right. You know, which is why he was right for the role.